working on my boss's bench. Another one-way clutch pulley that's seized. You stick your finger in here and try to rotate the pulley. It should rotate in one direction but not in the other. This one is seized. Recently I was also told by somebody that I don't need to hold the center shaft when breaking this loose. I'm well aware of that. I just showed it with basic hand tools so that you guys are aware. You can spin these off with just an impact gun, righty tighty lefty loosey. The problem is if you don't remove the pulley right away, it'll spin itself back on. Okay, so that's it. It's definitely the easier, quicker way to get it off. Installation is in reverse of removal. Put a little Loctite on there, spin it back into place. Use a triple square or a Torx depending on what your shaft has. There's different versions to tighten it back into place using the specific tools. I'm not aware of being able to tighten it with an impact gun. I guess you could try, you know, but in terms of just spinning it on fast, that might secure it. I prefer to go with the grunt style. When I know how much force I'm using, then I can for sure gauge how tight it is. I've shown this in prior videos. One-way clutch that's seized. You've got an inner shaft and an outer bearing, or the outer half of the pulley. So the one-way clutch is meant to rotate in one direction and not in the other. You can see this pulley is seized. By holding the center section, I can move this one. It'll do a full rotation with holding the center support. So basically what happens is the outside is driven by the belt, so the belt rotates in this direction. When you decelerate after a higher RPM, the alternator has all this momentum, so the engine, because of the crankshaft, or the alternator pulley, because of the crankshaft slows down, so this rotation is slower. But because the alternator still has forward momentum, it can continue going at a higher speed, or slow down at a slower rate, which puts less stress on the belt and the tensioner, if that all makes sense. And when it's seized like this, you'll notice the belt, the tensioner, so the belt runs across here, the tensioner is around here, and you'll see the belt and tensioner vibrate and rattle, and that's usually a sign that this one-way clutch pulley is seized. If your alternator pulley has a plastic cover like this, odds are good that it is a one-way clutch pulley. And you just pop off. You can pop this guy off, and then you just look for a spline piece like this. The easiest way to check the pulleys, I'll show you later, is just to stick a screwdriver in between the alternator housing, and then you try to move the fin, the cooling fins. You can see them right down here, and you should be able to move them in one direction but not in the other. In order to check if the pulley is seized, all you need to do is stick your finger in the openings here and try to move the cooling fans. And you can see on this one, I can move the cooling fan in this direction but not in the other direction. And again, you can use your finger too. You just got to get in there and give it a bit of a push. So that one's good. Again, if you have a plastic cover, most likely it's an alternator clutch, one-way clutch pulley. In which case, if the belt rattles too much, it's time to replace the pulley. the mushroom. Oh my god. Okay, gotta wait. There we go.